Ciao Juventini of the world, my name is Giuseppe, welcome back on the channel. I hope you're all doing well. Yes, I am still smiling because yesterday was an epic day in Serie A. Yesterday was an epic game in Serie A when we see the blunder, the big mistake of Radu, the goalkeeper of Inter. Mamma mia, we will have to speak about that. But first of all, in that intro, I want to refresh some memories. We have to take back the travel machine and go back 4 years ago on the 28th of April 2018. Inter Juve 2-1 for Inter. They were sure that actually because of that result Juventus would collapse and lose the Scudetto. 85th minute, Juventus is losing 2-1. 85th minute, there is an amazing standing ovation for Icardi that did a perfect game at that moment. Substitution of Spalletti, the coach of Inter, is actually making sure that Santon is entering to lock down the fort because they were parking the bus, making sure that Juventus would not equalize. What happened? Spoiler, Higuain, he scored the 3-2 after the equalizer on an own goal of Skriniar, the one that is always singing and mocking Juve. Yes, he brought us 2-2, 89 minutes, Higuain, Il Pipita scoring the 3-2, the victory of Juve. I remember the day after, Corriere dello Sport begging and praying and begging to everyone. They were saying Napoli, vinci per noi, because that day there was Napoli versus Firenze in Firenze and they were praying Sarri to win it because they didn't want the bad side, the dark side, Juventus to win that Scudetto. Spoiler, Napoli lost also versus Fiorentina. They were saying that the referee was a disaster that day. They were saying that in Firenze everyone was praying and hoping to the people for Napoli to back up also Sarri because they wanted to go back at -1. And that was a turning point of 17-18. Mamma mia! Today we will speak about Mercato. Pay attention. We'll speak about the youth who will remain at Juve, who will leave Juventus. Lot of news about that, so remain on the channel. Maximum of like, especially in a day where we have to celebrate Pipita Higuain, la Juventus non muore letteralmente mai. Subscribe to the channel. We start after the intro. It was a longer intro indeed because we had to celebrate, guys. Sometimes we have to celebrate. We have to cheer the moment. We start, but before that, before the front pages and the Mercato, pay attention, a lot of names in every single role. Put a maximum of like, but also and especially download OneFootball, the best app to remain up to date. Because I tell you, yesterday there were so many games in the same times. Atalanta-Torino, 4-4, crazy game. There was also Liverpool that was smashing Villarreal. There was Inter. There was mamma mia. So if you want to remain up to date to the score and don't want to miss any moment to celebrate the teams that are losing spots versus Juventus, download it for iOS and for Android. It is for free. Best app to remain up to date with the scores, but also with all the articles that they are writing. My friends, we start with Corriere dello Sport that, you remember 4 years ago, they were praying and begging Napoli to win. 4 years later, they are saying Inter fa malissimo. Inter, it hurts a lot. I'm sure that the writer of Corriere dello Sport front page, while he was putting it on paper, he was crying. I'm thinking that I'm also seeing that the paper is a bit wet, probably because he was crying. The tears of the one of Corriere dello Sport that saw yesterday Radu scoring nearly an own goal that was scored actually by Sansone. Mamma mia, disaster. Not only the Corriere dello Sport writer was crying, but also the ones in Inter. No, in Bologna actually. Marotta, we saw Zanetti, ex-legend of Inter that is still their vice president. They were not happy. They were crying. Let's see them cry more because yesterday, Italy, Serie A, we said it, 3 games. Fiorentina, 4-0 loss at home. The last time it happened that they lost versus Udinese was in 2007. 15 years later, they are doing it again, and not with a simple loss, but a 4-0. That hurts. Atalanta yesterday 4-4, and Bologna winning a 2-1 versus Inter that was leading until then 1-0. Tutto Sport, il mio Leo allenatore, the wife of Leonardo Bonucci, is speaking about the future of Bonucci, not immediate future, but in a long term, and she's saying that Bonucci is absolutely not someone that will enter in a management of a team one day, but he sees himself as a coach. I want your opinion. Do you see Leonardo Bonucci as a coach in the future? Yes or no? They are of course speaking about Radu, Radu crying. I'm I'm a bit sad for him. No, it's not true. I'm joking. I'm not sad for Inter players that are crying, and also not for Lautaro Martinez that we see on Gazzetta dello Sport. Also him crying, and they are saying l'Inter manda lo scudetto al diavolo. L'Inter is sending the scudetto to the devil that is represented by Milan. You know it, eh? Juventus has the zebra, beautiful animal. Then you have the snakes of Inter, disgusting. The snakes, they are actually having a really great name and appropriate name for their team, the snakes. And then you have the devils, is Milan. We continue, my friends, because why are they sending that scudetto to Milan? Because at the moment, without game in hands anymore, they are 2 points behind Milan. Then you have a total collapse of Napoli that has only 1 point over Juventus, Roma at -8, Lazio at -10 of Juve, and then you have also -10 and -11 for Fiorentina and Atalanta. Speaking about Fiorentina and Atalanta a bit before speaking about Mercato, my friends, pay attention. Fiorentina, pay attention, because they're already speaking about Italiano that is thinking, because he has a release clause of 10 million. Will he leave after 1 year as he did with Spezia? I would say, Vincenzo, grow with Fiorentina. Look what happened from the moment that you are playing 2 games a week. So try to go in Europa League. Take a bit of habit, experience playing 2 games a week, and then you can think about leaving and going to other teams. Atalanta. The fairy tale Atalanta, the beautiful Atalanta, yesterday they were laughing. They were happy that they did 4-4. They were actually using the meme of Manchester City winning 4-3 versus Real Madrid because it was an epic game. And then they said, we love that 4-4 versus Torino. Guys, if they love a 4-4 versus Torino, I wish them to do always 4-4, 5-5, 10-10. If they are happy, we have to be happy as well. Guys, now, seriously, after 6 minutes, 7 minutes of video, we have to go back to Juventus. Because yesterday, not only I was happy, but I was also a bit sad, because Locatelli tweeted that the season was over. Not literally the season is over with these words, but he said that he's concentrated and determined, with a lot of determination, for new objectives with 2 hearts, 1 white, 1 black. What are these new objectives? The new objectives from 22-23. So the season of Locatelli is over. Speedy recovery, and hopefully we have him even stronger than he was. Pay attention, because it's not over. We know that every single week or every single 3 days we have a new player that is injured. This time it is the Sciglio. We were all speaking yesterday already to see Danilo finally resting, because the guy is not at 100% and he needs and he deserves a bit of rest. We were thinking that it was able and possible to do that. With the Sciglio injured, probably Danilo will have to play also versus Venezia. Mohamed El Shahali, and that's how we enter Mercato talks. He's reporting from Fabiana Della Valle from Gazzetta dello Sport that Juventus and Sassuolo, they would try to do a kind of similar deal that they did for Locatelli, speaking about Locatelli, but this time for Raspadori. 2-year loan with an obligation to buy, inserting maybe some young players for Raspadori, that the price hasn't been set yet, but they're speaking around the value of 30 million euro. That would be a beautiful deal, I have to admit, especially if we are looking at the season of Raspadori that is really doing quite well. Young player of 22, Juventus is really serious on the player. Where is that money coming from? Probably from all the players that are on loan. We have players that are around Italy, around the world on loan from Juventus, that are able to score this season only 107 goals. That's a lot for a value more or less approximately of 30 million. If you are looking at the 30 million value of Raspadori and all these loanies, maybe Juventus will have to spend €0, because we will be break even. But not only Raspadori. Raspadori, yes, but with a mentor like Angel Di Maria. A bit kind of, if you are going to the past, Pirlo, that was the mentor of Paul Pogba, the experienced one, the one that really knows how to play and how to be a teacher more than a student, because he has the age, because he is already 34. Pirlo, Pogba, this time Di Maria and Raspadori would be a really beautiful help and support. Yesterday, Tuttosport, they launched a poll to see which Juventus fans would prefer between Zaniolo and Di Maria. 34% of the people were saying Di Maria, 66% were saying Zaniolo. My friends, I tell you, Zaniolo is further and further away from Juventus, especially because Roma, they continue to ask 60 million euro for him. That's a lot, a lot. 60 million could be put on Sergej Milinkovic-Savic, at least if we respect the value that he has on the market, between 60-65 million euro. Instead, Lotito is asking for 100 million. He wants to start a competition between the clubs like Manchester United that is really interested on the player. Again, if we want to see Sergej Milinkovic-Savic at Juventus, it will absolutely not be at 100 million, but probably we will need him to do like Locatelli, like Chiesa, saying no to every single team to join Juventus. Let's see what will happen there, because Raspadori, Di Maria, Sergej Milinkovic-Savic, my friends, we are speaking already about three top players joining Juventus for 22-23. One that will leave, we know it, is Dybala. We don't know where yet. They are divided between the Inter rumors, Paulo Dybala for 6 million euro salary per year to Inter, but also Ten Hag, that will be the new trainer of Manchester United. Apparently, he asked information for Paulo. I remember that years ago, Paulo said absolutely no to Manchester. He didn't want to go there, to live there, to have an experience in Manchester, preferring the south. Will he change his mind or not? I am not sure. Let's see. Another player that could join Juventus after Chiellini retiring is the 21 years old player from Monaco. Chiellini's possible replacement, like OneFootball is reporting. All the roads are leading to Ligue 1. Why? It's quite easy, because Bremer will go to Inter, guys. I know that sometimes they are still talking about Bremer, but he will go to Inter. Rudiger, don't deal with Real Madrid, so the guy from Monaco could be a good one. And we finish with the last part of the video, the youth players, the youngsters, because first of all, before speaking about them, we have to check the midfield of 22-23 on the 1st of July. 10 midfielders: Locatelli, McKennie, Arthur, Zakaria, Rabiot, Ramsey, Rovella, Fagioli, Miretti and Ranocchia, without any new purchase. That's 10 midfielders, and that's really a lot. So not all of them will be able to remain at Juventus. This is simply impossible. So who could stay, who could leave? Under 23, Miretti and Zuelli, they have a lot of requests for other teams. Miretti, they are speaking about him remaining, because he's super young, he's still 18, remaining at Juventus in under 23. Let's see what will happen there. But then all the other youngsters, because I told you, with 10 midfielders, a lot has to go. It's impossible to see Ranocchia, Miretti, Fagioli, Rovella and all these players in the first team. It is simply impossible. The one that has big chances to remain at Juventus are Gatti, the defender that is playing at Serie B at the moment. 90% of chances, that is what Gazzetta dello Sport is telling us. Rovella is a player that could remain at Juventus. Why Rovella over Fagioli and all the other players? Because Rovella is a player that has more experience in Serie A, already 2 years of experience in Serie A. He could be the one that will be in the first team, with Fagioli being loaned maybe again to Cremonese. First of all, before loaning him, he has to extend his contract, because his contract will end in 2023. So let's see what will happen with Fagioli. I want also from you to know, what would you do with all these players? Who would you keep at Juventus from the young kids? And we continue with other names. Another one that has a lot of chance to remain at Juve, I don't know if they watched the video I made a few days ago, but it is Mathias Soulé. That, yes, he's a different kind of player from Allegri style. He's not a physical, typical player that he likes, but he's probably the one that will have the most fantasy in his leg, because he's a real fantasista. A real creative player, sorry. So these three players has more chances to remain. If you are speaking about Miretti, I told you, under 23. Ranocchia probably on loan, and we will continue to loan all the other players. Let's see what will happen with Ake. Good news, he will be there for the end of the season, and then maybe we can also dream about 2-3 games of Weston McKennie with Juventus, because he's already doing some bicycle and some running. So let's see what will happen with our American boy. Will he stay next year? That is another question mark. Thank you for being on the channel. I hope you enjoyed it. Put a maximum of likes, subscribe to the channel, download OneFootball. Grazie, forza, Juve.